Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Solomon Scott Selections here for Tuesday, November 22nd. For again today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. We had a nice winner in hockey with the Blues minus 1.5 goals at plus 115 on DraftKings. Wasn't easy. It was actually a tie game with about 6 minutes to go. Blues got a power play and scored, then had an empty netter with 15 seconds left to give us the 2-goal lead, which they held on to as they won 3-1. So it wasn't easy, wasn't pretty, but it didn't matter as they ended up getting the job done. I'll look for another winner here on Tuesday. And for today's play, they're going to pivot to the NBA. We'll get a matchup, a primetime TV matchup between the Nets and the Sixers, taking place at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for this matchup, going to take the Nets -7 at minus 110 on FanDuel. Time recording of 1:10 a.m. Eastern Time. Couple reasons why I like the Nets in this spot. First reason, going by recent form, the Nets have actually been decent lately, as the Nets have won 4 of their last 6 games, and 3 of those 4 wins have been by at least 12 points. But the main reason why I'm going to take the Nets in the spot is because of who is absent for Philadelphia. Basically everybody. You have no Harden, no Maxey, and recently Embiid was added to the injury report. He's officially been ruled out for this game. So Philadelphia's going to be missing its 3 best players. And if you go through the rest of the roster, it's an absolute train wreck. So to go through the projected starting lineup, you have most likely Milton and Melton, then PJ Tucker, Tobias Harris, and Paul Reed. If I had to guess the starting 5, maybe Tyball's in there. But the point is, if that's your starting 5, that if for an entire season, the team would win maybe 20 games. It's really just an awful lineup. The bench isn't great either with Niang, Montrezl Harrell, and that's basically it. But the point is, Philadelphia is really, really in trouble because they don't have many quality scoring options. Tobias Harris could potentially give you 20 something, but he's also very streaky and he could struggle. And they don't really have a plan B besides hoping that Milton and Melton play well again, which I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. But the point is, Philadelphia is really in trouble because they don't have a lot of good players left on their team since their top 3 guys are injured. Meanwhile, the Nets are the opposite. The Nets are actually fully healthy. And to go through the overall just roster, Durant is healthy. Kyrie's officially back. Ben Simmons is healthy. Curry's back. Claxton missed the last game, but he's going to be back. Joe Harris is healthy. Royce O'Neal's healthy. Watanabe's healthy. The whole team's healthy. So you have a full-strength Nets team against a Philadelphia team that's basically at, I don't even know what they're at this point, 40%, 30%? I mean, they're missing their top 3 guys. So I think the Nets should definitely dominate, at least on paper. And you might be wondering about motivation because the Nets are obviously going to see who's absent for Philadelphia and maybe take their foot off the gas. Not quite. I think this spot's a particularly important game for the Nets that I'm sure they've had circled in the calendar for most of the season because it will be Ben Simmons' first game in Philadelphia since he was traded. And I'm sure he wants to put on a good show, and I'm sure that his teammates definitely want to really make a statement here, potentially showcasing how Simmons is definitely a player that they miss. But you're going through Simmons' numbers, and I know he was awful for most of the season. However, the last 2 games have actually been really good. Against Portland, he had 15, 13, and 7. And against Memphis, he had 22, 8, and 5. So it seems like Simmons has finally gotten back on track. And Kyrie, we know, had a bit of a minute restriction there in the last game against Memphis. I think he should probably play north of 30. And KD's, of course, KD, so he'll play as many minutes as he needs to. But the Nets roster on paper, actually not that bad. Royce O'Neal had a triple-double against Portland a couple games ago. He's been pretty good lately. Seth Curry off the bench has been good. You look at Watanabe, who's actually leading the league in three-point percentage, which is kind of random but true. I think the Nets roster is actually kind of coming together quite nicely, and Philadelphia is using a bunch of backups that have to play starter now, and they're basically using their C or D squad up to this point. So even though Philly is at home, and even though Philadelphia, you could argue, is in a decent buy low spot, I don't buy it. I think the Nets are the more talented team. They should be motivated because of Simmons' backstory and stuff like that. And I do think with KD, Kyrie, and Simmons in the lineup together with a healthy bench and supporting cast, I think they're just going to be too much to handle. Plus, the last time the Nets were actually on primetime TV, they gave up 153 points. So you can argue that the Nets, after getting embarrassed on national TV, might be even more focused for this game. But either way, the point is I think the Nets should coast, and I think the spread's way too low based on the injury reports for both teams. I know it's a lot of points in the NBA for a road team. I think in this case it's not enough. I think the Nets should win by at least 10 points. Play that once again here for Tuesday, November 22nd is going to be on the Nets -7 at -110 on FanDuel. Bye, everyone.